So our first question comes from IG.
Well, tell them where this came from. The other night she had insomnia, so she posted, send some questions.
Oh, okay.
And she got a shit ton of them. So it wasn't really
How did you
on
know?
any topic or anything, but
You
it's,
guys-
this is just a few of them. So unfortunately, it's only from Instagram too. So there's nobody else. There's no Twitter or any. It's just Instagram, but we got a shit ton.
Our first question from the gram comes from Marina Ilya. What has been the hardest thing about having a baby? For me, Tommy, what do you think it is for you?
Just that, like, I want to live up to being the best version of myself for him. And I
Yes.
catch myself a lot of times, correcting things about me, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And I think that that's all, it's not like that's the hardest thing for me, is to be more conscious of the things, of my bad habits, when I'm around him, especially. Things that's like, all right, just things that I don't want him to necessarily pick up on.
Oh,
from
you're
me.
okay. So you're saying that you're more aware of what you're doing because there's a young set of eyes on you that's following and watching.
Exactly.
And can mimic your bad behavior.
And that's the hardest part for me.
So you check yourself.
Yeah, but it gets me in my head a lot.
Like-
So it's not necessarily in that moment. It's also
like what?
it could be anything. It could, one thought could plant a seed into 1,000 thoughts.
Sounds tough.
Yeah. But it's stuff that, again, it's a lot more things that have happened since he's come into the world in my mind that didn't happen before,
Okay, well, for me, the hardest thing about having a baby is, the first thing is you're always going to worry about your baby, whether,
Very true.
for their safety, for their
Especially
happiness.
you.
And you're always going to be neglecting yourself because it's all about the baby.
Yeah.
And then the way that you and I
Plus, I think
took
there's different,
levels and phases of
No,
it.
but I think like Jordan Peterson says, you want kids to do dangerous things carefully. I think from a father standpoint, like I want him to do things and not get hurt where you don't want to ever have him get hurt. Like I kind of like almost he has to get hurt, but I don't want him to get hurt. But I gotta, you come from a different vantage point. Like you want to put him in bubble wrap where I don't necessarily, but I just think that's the relationship, the mother and as opposed to the mother and me being the father.
The third hardest thing about having a baby, I would say, is how I had to less prioritize you, my husband, because in the beginning, it was just about me sleeping and then you getting some sleep and just passing the baby back and forth between the two of us and not being as attentive to each other and having to accept that our relationship as a couple had to shift because we're now prioritizing our little guy. And it's not easy on a day-to-day basis, just like you were saying that you get in your head about that. For me, I get in my head about how you and I really got to be there like this super wild couple that just focused on each other from like the minute we woke up until the minute we went down. I would wake up and stare at you for hours. We would lie in bed for hours and just talk or watch movies.
Stop looking at me like that now. You look like a creep.
We just lie in bed with no care about the time.
No, and then life got fast forward quick, between your father getting sick, then getting married, like things all started happening real quick.
That changed everything.
Yeah, and, I don't care how you say it, but having kids in a lot of ways is a younger man's game. When we had them, first off, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. There's a lot of things that happen instinctively in you as people that all of a sudden you know how to do shit that like, oh, right, this isn't that crazy. But in the moment, you feel like you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, is this right? Is this right? And again, Darth Vida loves her grandson, but she's not She wasn't helping. You know what I mean? It wasn't like she
No,
could.
but I'm talking about our relationship. You're changing the subject. I'm saying that when you and I met, we were so obsessed with each other.
Yeah.
And we had all the hours and minutes of the day to stay in bed and talk to each other and just.
But yeah, that's going to change, obviously, when you have a baby.
It really went a 180, and not in a bad way.
Yeah.
You know? But now I'm at a point where I want to start, and I feel like I'm starting to circle around to you and trying to make you feel like I notice you, I'm in love with you, I have my feelings for you are as passionate as ever. It's just like now I have to show you more and see if, like, okay, he's 3 years old, you know? That's a great milestone. It's a natural time, I feel like, where you circle around to your spouse and say, like, all right, let's get back into us.